It's football season, and guess what? We have a double header for you on all angles this week. We're going to be talking about Earl Moxham's new book called Vantage Point Jamaica. Also an update on the National Identification and Registration System, NIDS. We've come to Jamaica House to talk to the minister responsible, Floyd Green. Minister, the government has launched a NIDS technical pilot, which the Prime Minister has said will help you to test drive the processes. So what does that mean?
So over the last few years, we've been in the developmental stage of our national identification system, meaning we've been getting the systems in place, we've been getting our card personalization equipment, our card stock, and we've been developing the necessary software that will allow us to enroll persons in the national identification system. Now we're at a phase where we have completed that preparatory work, so we now have to open it to a limited amount of the public to be able to literally go through some of the steps. So those steps include a number of things. So for example, we will have a pre-enrollment site. What it means is that people wherever they are in Jamaica, once they want to sign up for the National Identification System, they can go online, they can input their information, they can book an appointment, and then they can go to an enrollment center. So we will have people who will go through that process. Our enrollment centers will also be taking walk-ins, people who just decide that they want to be a part of the NIDS, walk in, bring in their documentation. We have established now our first enrollment site, which is in Kingston and St. Andrew at the Central Sorting Office. So we will have some people who go through that process. One of the targeted groups for our national identification system is to work with our disabled population. So we'll be working with the Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities to enroll in the NIDS. So again, we will take them through, we will bring them to the enrollment site, we will ensure that everything that has been designed is fit for purpose for them, and we will walk them through that process. So that will allow us to, one, look at the process, look at efficiencies, time it takes, see if there are any challenges that we need to work out, get feedback from them in terms of their interaction with the system to refine the system before national rollout.
So the processes you're testing then are from enrollment to card production? From
enrollment to card production, I would say we would want to do a little bit of everything. So we would want to not only do enrollment and card production, we probably will have somebody who will volunteer to, after getting the card, they want to change something on the card. So they will come back in and go back through that process in terms of changing information. We want to get somebody who probably has misplaced their card. Let's use that as a pilot test case. What happens when you misplace it? How long will it take for the replacement card to be generated? So we're really going to be targeting all elements of the system just to ensure that it's working at its optimal level.
But I understand that the information you're collecting during the pilot are not going to be inputted into the NIDS database at this stage?
Yeah, so it will only be around for the pilot, right? And then people will have to determine if they want that information to be put into the NIDS database. So clearly, we'll be asking for volunteers to come out. We will have some people that we would target because we want to have a broad base. We want to carry it right across the socioeconomic profile of people. We will put out for people who just want to volunteer to be a part of it, and we'll have a limited group for that. When they do give their information, because you will actually have to go through the actual process, we will print a card. That card will not be useful after the pilot, right? But you could say to us that, yes, having participated in the pilot, you already know for your actual NIDS card, now it's national rollout, and you could authorize the National Identification and Registration Authority to use that data to generate your NIDS card, and then you will get an actual card. So it doesn't mean that you would have to literally go back through the process, right? But you would definitely have to authorize us to use that data.
Okay, so but one of the most questioned and controversial parts of NIDS is in fact the database aspect of it, and how data will be inputted, how they'll be stored, how they'll be protected and monitored, and so on. So what are you doing to ensure that that part of the program is going to be ready?
Yeah, so we are, I would say, doing all the background work we know we need to do in relation to that. So how the Act is formulated, we are going to set the National Identification and Registration Authority, and that will be, for using a term from the Data Protection Act, that will be the data controller. That will be the person who has custody of the data. And remember, under this new dispensation, even when you give the data to the National Identification and Registration Authority, it is your data, and we cannot treat with that data without your authorization. So we are now moving to establish that entity. Cabinet has approved the structure. We're going to be moving now to incorporate a board of governors and then to onboard people. That entity will bring in the Registrar's General Department. So we do already have some capacity in that regard. So the entity will deal with not only identification, but will deal with the full gamut of civil registration, right? So we're going